Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we're playing with some brand new Sigma eyeshadow palettes. I was so excited when this arrived at my door yesterday. Here, this is more exciting. So I got this beautiful PR package, and behind each of these little doors here, we have a 9-pan eyeshadow palette. So definitely super excited. Always excited to receive new makeup, but especially, I don't know what it is about eyeshadow palettes, they just get me so excited. If you are new to my channel, my name is Lisa, welcome. I'm a former makeup artist and I was a trainer for MAC Cosmetics years and years ago. I love all things makeup, but I really love teaching makeup. That is my passion, and I love to teach makeup in a simple, attainable way. I want you to be able to watch my videos and actually recreate the looks and not need 10 different shadows on your lids to create them. So if you're into videos like that, definitely subscribe. You don't want to miss out. Okay, so let's dive right in. I'm gonna go through each of these palettes real quickly and then we'll decide what palette we're gonna use in today's video. It came with this beautiful little insert card here, so I'm just gonna read a little bit of information about each palette and then I will show you what you have. So it's a collection of 6 new eyeshadow palettes. All palettes have 9 shades in them. They retail for $29 individually, or you can purchase all 6 travel-friendly palettes for $163. They are saying it's a value of $204. So pretty good. This video is not sponsored, by the way. Let's get that out of the way. This is just me getting some really fun PR and wanting to share. Okay, so first we have the Spicy palette. All of them are 9 shades, by the way. It's a warm neutral palette. You do get a good mix of matte shades here. It looks like you have 5 matte shades and you have 4 shimmer shades. While it's neutral, it definitely leans more on the warmer side. You have a really pretty kind of like rust color here with some orange to it, plum shade that tends to have a little bit of warmth to it, and you also have a really beautiful kind of terracotta matte shade here with some fun light shimmer. The shimmers lean on the light side, so there looks like they'd be great colors for the lid. So next we have the Ivy palette, and the Ivy palette definitely leans more to those kind of like jewel tone colors. You've got some really pretty blues and greens in this palette, and this palette you have 1 less matte and 1 extra shimmer, so you're coming in at 4 matte shades and 5 shimmers. This is definitely that blue-green color scheme. You have this really gorgeous, deep matte, kind of navy, greenish matte shade. It kind of reminds me of a shade by MAC called Plumage. Do you guys remember that shade? Kind of reminds me of that. And then you've got a really pretty kind of aqua seafoam blue shimmer shade in the middle, and then this really kind of bright citrine green in the upper right corner. But you do have a couple of neutrals in here to really tie that color together. The next palette we have is the Rosy palette, and the name pretty much says it all. This is definitely more of that warm pink, red, rosy color palette. And this palette you have 5 matte shades and 4 shimmer shades, and every single one of the shades has a pink undertone to it. So if you are all about the real rosy pink tones, then this palette is definitely for you. Most of the shimmers lean pretty light. There is one kind of middle of the road as far as like depth shimmer shade here. It's kind of like a pinkish fuchsia shade. It's really, really beautiful. And I have to appreciate the unit carton and packaging of this. I think it's really smart. They have this little window open so you can see the shades, and on the back they actually have the color swatches indicated with the names on it. I really think it's smart. It's cute and smart. This is the Hazy eyeshadow palette. So in this you get 4 shimmer shades and 5 matte, and this is more of a kind of taupey, purpley, smoky look. You do have this shade which has some pink to it, but overall the color story we're seeing here is more of that plummy grayish shades. You don't have anything vibrantly purple, and it's not like all smoky grays. It's definitely purple leaning, but more of that kind of like sultry, smoky, taupish purple. Really, really beautiful. This one is actually kind of calling my name. So far, I think this is the one that I'm gonna wanna dip in today. Okay, the next palette we have, Fiery, and I think that's appropriately named because it is very warm, but unlike the Rosy collection, it's more of like your copper, neutral, orangey shades, very much Fiery. In this palette, you get 5 shimmer shades and then you get 4 matte shades. 3 of the matte shades have a pretty strong leaning orange tone to them. This one here is called Apricot, and it's the lightest of the peach orangey shades. Then you have this one Paradise, which is more of like a brownie mid-tone peach. And then you have Summer Song, which is a very true, like vibrant, deep orange. And then you have Roasted, which is a nice kind of like, it's pretty deep brown matte shade, really beautiful. And then the last one we have is the Sigma Ritzy eyeshadow palette, and this totally looks like my jam. This is beautiful. This is probably my favorite so far of all 6 of them, but something tells me I need to step out of my box, so I think I am going to do the hazy palette, but this one is beautiful. I definitely am excited to play with this one. This one is neutral, but it has this really beautiful kind of like penny copper shade here in the center, and then this color down here, it's called Gold Rush. It is like the most beautiful silvery pewter shade. If we can get that to focus, it's so pretty. I really like shades like that on the lid because it adds like this beautiful highlight on the lid, especially when you pair it with a dark matte shade, which you do have here. You have 2 dark shades. You have 1 really deep dark matte shade here. This palette offers 4 shimmer shades, and then you get 5 matte shades. And I do think that they did a good job in this particular one, kind of doing a big range of light to dark, because you have a pretty dark color here, and then you have 2 very light shades here. And then the fill-ins are kind of in the middle of the road there. So that's really beautiful. Okay, to start, I'm gonna dip into the shade Mist, and we're going to lay down our first transition shade. This shade is pretty light. Ooh, actually it goes on deeper than it looks in the pan. I find that to be true with most of Sigma shades. It's beautiful. Oh, I love that color. It's so pretty. It's a lilac-y purple shade, but it has quite a bit of pink to it. And I'm just gonna work that back and forth. So the payoff is really nice. I'm getting really great payoff. It's very easy to blend. It's not patchy for a matte. It's a beautiful, really nice velvety finish on that. I love that. And I'm actually gonna pull it out. I'm creating more of a rounded eye. I'm gonna kind of pull this out and create more of an almond eye. That is so nice. That was easy. That didn't take any effort or work, really. I feel like sometimes you really have to layer and layer matte shades, especially lighter matte shades, but this went on really easy. Okay, I love that. I love that color. Then next I'm gonna go in with the shade Petal, which is the next like darker matte shade in the palette. And I'm going to layer that pretty much directly on top of that first shade that we laid down. And I'm also gonna bring a little bit of that onto the lid. And I'm just using the BK Beauty 202 brush. This is a crease blending brush, but if you use the side of the brush to pick up product and you just kind of press it, you can actually use it to apply color on the lid. Keep in mind it's gonna apply color really soft and sheerly. It's not gonna pack it on with like intense color payoff. It's just gonna give you a real sheer wash of color if you use it this way. But you can definitely use this in a pinch as an all over brush. Ooh, that's so pretty. I love this vibe. I was thinking that this was gonna be more of a grayish purple, and it definitely is more of a cool tone purple, but it has some pink to it. I like it. It adds a little more vibrancy of color. Okay, then next I'm gonna go in with this shade. Down here it's called Vervain. There we go. So this is a nice kind of more medium to dark matte shade. It's got a lot of brown in it, but you still have that purple to it. And I'm just gonna layer this in the outer corner a little bit just to deepen it, but I don't want to take this too far over. So you'll see I'm just using the tip of this brush and I'm just placing it. This has a lot of color payoff, you guys. Like, you really don't need to pick up much, just a little bit. In fact, I got too much. I'm gonna use a paper towel to kind of take off that. I don't want to make this too dark. That is gorgeous. These colors blend out so nice. They're so like creamy. I mean, they're obviously not a cream, they're a powder, but the payoff look is just like a real creamy, velvety matte. These are really nice. Okay, and I'm gonna continue with that theme of pulling and elongating for an almond shape eye. Okay, I love that. I'm so excited about that. Okay, next I'm gonna switch brushes. I'm gonna move over to a dense shader brush. This is the 203 by BK Beauty. You can see that it's more dense and smaller. I'm gonna use this to pack on color onto the lid. And what shall we do? Okay, let me see. These 3 shimmer shades that I am curious about. So this one is, so I'm trying to decide between these 3 shades. This shade is beautiful. It's called Fanciful, and it's just a real shimmery, sparkly, kind of champagne shade with some gold flecks to it. Then you have the one in my middle finger here, which is Bellflower, and that obviously leans more kind of like a true purple with some silver shimmer. And then you have this shade right here, which is Daydreamer, and that's obviously more pink. I think any three would look really beautiful. Let's go with Daydreamer. Let's go with that more pinky vibe. And I'm gonna use my 203 wherever it went. I think I lost it. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There it is, okay. And I'm just gonna pick up the product with the side of the brush here, and I'm just gonna go and pack it on the lid. Because this is shimmery, I am gonna tap it off just on my finger so that any of that fallout will fall, you know, not on my face. And I'm gonna pack this on the lid. Okay, so I'm getting some good color payoff with shades that are this shimmery. I feel like it's a coin toss. Sometimes there's a lot of pigment you get, and then other times you just get a lot of sparkle and glitter and fallout and not much color. This has some good color. I would say it's about middle of the road. I am having to kind of pack it and layer it on to get good color. With that said, it's definitely got pigment to it. It's not just a sheer shimmer shadow or a sheer glittery shadow. You could also probably use your finger and get even more color payoff. You'll find with shades like this, the more you press and lift, the better deposit you're gonna get. If you go like back and forth and sweep, you're just gonna move the shimmer around and you're not gonna get that rich color deposit. Okay, I'm just gonna pack that on. So this is actually going on a little more purple than I thought. I thought it was gonna lean more pink. Now I do wanna go and lighten that a little bit. So I'm gonna go back into the shade Fanciful right here, and we're gonna load that up, and I'm gonna place this in my inner corner. Then last, I'm gonna take the matte lightest shade, it's called Dainty, and I'm gonna run that underneath my brow as my brow highlight. Okay, the last thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that 202 brush. This is the brush that I use to build the crease work, and I'm gonna just go over everything and kind of blend it out and blend together. I think my favorite formula from this palette are definitely the mattes. The shimmers do have some color, but I had to kind of layer them up to get like a really intense color. Okay, next I'm gonna go in and line my eyes, and I'm just gonna use a black rich eye kohl. I'm using the Trish McEvoy gel eyeliner pencil, and I'm going to just kind of do a little line on the outer half. This pencil is really soft and I can spread it. So even though that looks chunky and it doesn't look real smooth and blended, that's okay, because I'm gonna go back with a shadow and a small brush, and I'm going to make it look a little more seamless. So I'm gonna take my BK Beauty 204 brush, and I'm gonna pick up the darkest shade in the palette, which is Melancholy. It's this really dark, dark eggplant shade. And I'm gonna use my 204 brush, load up both sides of that, tap off the excess, and I'm just going to kind of run that over that line. Okay, and last I'm going to take the first shade we used, which is the shade Mist, and we're gonna run this on our lower lash line. I just want a real soft, hazy look on the lower lash line. Okay, and I do need a little more color, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna grab the shade Petal, and we're gonna layer that on top. So for mascara, I'm gonna layer the Dior Lash Primer first, and then we're gonna go in with the Kosas Big Clean Mascara. For lips, I'm using Clinique Pop Lipstick in Beige Pop. My lips are so dry lately. I can't figure out why, but all of a sudden they are so dry. Kind of blot that together. And then I am going to top it with a little bit of Fenty Beauty Latte Lips. This is the Pro Kisser Lip Balm. I really love this formula. It feels more like a gloss than a balm. Really, really sheer in color. It just gives the lips a very highly glossy, kind of milky look. Okay, so final thoughts on this palette. I love the mattes. The mattes have a lot of pigment. They pay off really nicely. They blend out really easily. They blend out effortlessly. I guess easy and effortlessly are the same thing, but they're just easy to work with. You put it on and it just blends out. It doesn't take a lot of time. You're not having to like create this consistency. Sometimes mattes can be patchy. These are really, really nice. They blend out so well. The shimmers are nice. I think I prefer the matte formula. I think the matte really like checks that like 10 box, and the shimmers I'd place at around probably a 7-ish. They look really beautiful when you swatch them on your finger. When you use a brush to apply them, you get some color, but you kind of have to layer it if you want to get a lot of color. If you were to use your finger, you would probably get more. Actually, you know what? Let's use our finger and let's just kind of top off what we have on and see. The finger is the way to apply the shimmers. They really go on like true to color. That's what I want. It took a little bit of work with a brush. I'm just gonna use my index finger and kind of layer this on top because that's really the look that I wanted to get. You could also spray your brush with a setting spray or with a little bit of water to make it even more intense, but using a dry brush is gonna take a little bit more work. But with that said, they're definitely not like a sheer kind of glittery formula either. I would place them right, I had really high expectations and I would place them kind of just like a little bit better than average shimmer shade. But yeah, so the mattes are beautiful. I like the way that this look came out. I'm definitely excited to play with some others in here. The Ritzy palette I think is gonna be my favorite. I want to thank Sigma for sending these guys over. I'll have links to all of these products in the description box below if you want to pick any of these up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.